Alright, so now we're gonna go.
And Anthony really spun that one for a while.
So now we're gonna go to Matt's TED Talk about C9 versus.
I just said this isn't a TED Talk.
Too bad.
All right. Fine. Okay. Right off the bat, I liked the early draft from 100 Thieves. They prioritized one of the top champions of the game and the best bottom lane in the game. Great start. Although I don't think Kench Ashe is that bad. Especially with Zeyzal and Sneaky. I think it's a pretty safe lane. And the Ashe era did, as we see, forced Afromoon and a few other people to get QSSs, which is always nice. Akali, I'm always 50-50 on. I trust Licorice, and I kind of trust Niski, but it seemed really risky. They didn't seem to have like a super good front line going into the game.
Well, yeah, they nerfed it. That's why.
Yeah, and also they nerfed it, and also he went Conqueror drive, and he didn't see. I don't think he was going tank drive in this game. Yeah, like he went red smite, red damage or warrior. So like, this was like a damage comp, which is fine. You can play a damage comp, but you need to get ahead. And frankly, they were ahead for a while. For like the first 15 minutes of the game, I think they had like a 4 or 5k gold lead. They had the Drakes. They were trading the kills back and forth.
C9 never had a more than a 2.3k gold lead.
I thought they had 4k at one point. Okay, so they weren't super far ahead, but they had good objective control in their dragons. They were on top of every single Drake for the early game and moving into mid game. For me, what seemed to be one of the big shifts was at about 11 minutes, there was a really weird play at like the entrance to blue jungle near the what's it called, Herald Pit, top side 100 Thieves blue side jungle. So the team's all there and they're like getting ready to disengage, just walk away. They get the Herald. C9 gets the Herald. 100 Thieves is in their blue side jungle, and instead of walking away, Blabber walks forward and ults. Amazing after Niski Gragas ults Gragas out. So they're trying to disengage. He flag drag R's, gets the Gragas flash. Then he gets Gragas ulted into Fake God, and he has to blow his flash. And he ends up actually getting out. But he started this really weird scattered fight that was really odd to me. And it ended with Blabber getting killed eventually by Victor. And I think they picked a Niski or Licorice off shortly thereafter. And I think Fake got an amazing day too. But there were just some really questionable plays for me from Blabber. There are a few other times in the game when he ulted and I was like, what are you doing? Right? Like, you're ulting amazing, fine. I guess you can kill the Gragas first. It's a good target to ult in lieu of anything else, but he would be significantly far ahead of his team. He'd be significantly farther away from his team. And it just seemed a few really weird engaged choices for me. I love Blabber. I think he's a great player, and I enjoy his presence on the team. But this game, I spent a lot of the game going, well, like I'm not really sure about that fight. I wasn't really sure what you were doing there. And I don't think it was his fault they lost the game. But I think some of his decisions gave 100 Thieves a little bit of an edge. And 100 Thieves just had some really good picks. They had a really good gank bottom where they just caught Zeyzal in a bush out of position, and they chained Gragas ult, Rakan W, and Xayah root perfectly. Like, it was picture perfect, beautiful what they were able to do. And the TK nerfs hurt. I think there was a time mid in the 2v2 mid where Zeyzal tried to spit Sneaky over the wall, but with the nerfed range, he wasn't able to get him over the wall, which is unfortunate. But it was sort of hard. I wasn't really sure what happened. I kind of, in my memory, I imagined C9 getting stunned, but that's just because I'm dramatic. When it really just felt like a sort of a very even game until like 25-ish minutes when 100 Thieves started to run away with it. And that's when they were starting to win more and more fights, and C9's positioning started to get weirder, right? Like, you have the fight in blue side jungle again where Licorice is all the way by the entrance to the enemy base. Niski's getting killed in the blue pit, and Licorice is alone on Akali all the way back there getting CC chained, and the carries are on Niski, and Niski gets I think he gets 3 or 4 hit by Bang's autos. And so it seemed like they just sort of let Bang scale, and Bang played extremely well. He was really back on that old crit marksman grind that I sort of come to expect from him, or I had come to expect from him anyway. But it just seemed like what really happened was there were a few questionable fights, and it looked like they weren't all always on the same page. And I think I've tended to see that happening, not just with C9, but a lot of the top teams when they pick these sort of quasi dive comps. Like a lot of the Akalis I've seen in these games this split, even like when TL lost to Echo Fox, they are always on like the other side of the fight from their team, which is fine if you're able to one-shot the enemy marksman and get out, or like disrupt the backline. But if you're just dying and then your team on the other side of the fight is dying, it doesn't seem to work. But overall, I'm not even really sure like how C9 lost, other than 100 Thieves like bot lane just playing extremely well and the rest of their team sort of playing off of them and taking advantage of a few missed calls. Do you have any thoughts?
I don't really like the Akali and the...
I don't, but...
And the with Sylas picks. Sylas just got nerfed, and for most people, it's like, he's gone. He's out of the meta. We said this last week, and it's just like, I don't see this being
but I think that this is a fine...
for them.
I think it's a fine comp to take it, because there's some very good ultimates to steal.
I guess...
I mean, Rakan ult and Gragas ult, if you can get them off, and even Aatrox ult, if you're ahead.
But Aatrox's ult virtually just makes you run away and kind of makes your W better at healing.
It gives you the revive, though.
Yeah, but I've never seen Sylas pull that ult, use it, and then proc the revive.
Fair enough. I don't know. I just think that I don't think it was the worst pick. I maybe would have liked to see something else because of the nerf, but if it's what he's comfortable on, it's what he's comfortable on. I don't know. It just seemed like they didn't really have a lot of coordination. Maybe this squad doesn't have a lot of practice or as much. I mean, definitely not as much practice with Blabber, but it just seemed like overall there were some miscommunications about where people should be going.
I think Orianna.
And generally, I generally don't like Ashe on dive comps anyway because she's so immobile.
Yeah.
Like if your top side are all diving in with EQ, flag and drag, Akali's dashes, and Sylas dashes, then you have Tom Kench and Ashe alone. And like, okay, you're on the backline and now you have like unrestricted Ashe access to Ashe. And that's really bad for Ashe. She has to spend a lot of that time kiting, a lot of that time running, a lot of that time ulting defensively or trying to ult defensively, which you don't want her to be doing. You want her to be using her ult aggressively, which Nikki was good about generally. But I don't know. It seemed like a weird sort of mix for me. I would have rather seen like a Kaisa or an Ezreal or something a little bit more capable of following the top side, especially because a lot of the deaths that seemed unnecessary were when one or more of the top side were way, way deeper into the team than everybody else.
So they last picked this Sylas, but Sylas got bodied. So I'm guessing they have an awful read on it, Sylas's power, and if Sylas is good into like Victor already, which I didn't think he was all that great into Victor, because Sylas is kind of low range, and Victor loves fighting low range melee champions because he just gets to pick on you. So I get like, if you were gonna lane swap this, I guess that might work, because Sylas seems like he can outskill Aatrox. I know a lot of champions can, but Aatrox does good into Akali just because he has massive AoE damage that Akali can't dodge with her Shroud. So that's just a nice bonus. And then you have Gragas to help that out. That's just really good to get topside rolling. But this comp doesn't look like it goes together for me. Yeah, it's a bit of a dive comp and a kind of a pick comp, but I'd much rather just see Orianna in the mid lane. Like, why not? Why wouldn't you just do that? Or like Syndra, because...
No, I completely agree. It was a little bit weird. I just don't think it was the worst, and I think that, I mean, maybe Orianna would have helped. They had good ball delivery, but like, to me, it seemed more of a cohesion and communication thing, and just like a where they should be in the fights and in general. But you know, I don't know. I was definitely bummed to see it.
Like, who else could they have played mid here? Because I feel like there's a long list of virtually every other mid laner that probably would have done good here. You could play Lux here. Why don't you play Lux here? Lux sounds good here, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Lux definitely sounds strong here, and it's a good flex. I mean, they last picked it, but whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it was odd. And I think that a lot of the games we've seen C9 losing where we didn't expect them to lose were because of odder drafts, but this one felt less like the draft and just more like a communication thing. But that's just my take.
Maybe.
Although I don't think the draft was top tier by any stretch.
Maybe C9 just can't play anything besides Yasuo Gragas anymore with Blabber. That honestly might just be it. Because Blabber might not be able to keep up with everyone. Though I don't know. I'm still feeling like this is a lot of a mid lane issue.
I think it's a mid lane issue. I mean, Blabber did have some moments where it wasn't that he wasn't caught up with the team, but the team wasn't caught up with him, right? Like when he was ulting in alone and stuff.
I mean, that's his MO, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware, but I like Blabber, and I think he offers a nice counterbalance to Svenskeren.
I feel like if you're putting him on J4, that's too safe. You gotta be putting him on something.
He didn't even go tank J4, he went full damage J4.
Which I guess that's a... Wait, hang on. Did he go bruisery damage or full damage?
He didn't go lethality, but...
Yeah, that's a... He was building more health. I guess he was probably gonna go for Starix again, but I don't know. I feel like you need the raw tank in this. Look. You go tank J4 with Orianna, boom. There, you got a team.
This team needed a full tank, especially because the support item we had to get first on TK was Redemption. Right, like we don't offer a lot of tanks.
Was Skarner up?
I don't think so.
Skarner's up. I want to pick Skarner.
That's fair.
I feel like the mid and jungle had so many better options they could have picked, and instead of trying to run this backline divey bruisery pick comp, which just feels like it was trying to be forced to work, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you wanna take us on home?
Oh yeah, okay. That'll do it for week 4 coverage of the Legendary League Lens podcast. Catch us every Monday at 7. Twitch.tv on twitch.tv/NizzyTV2K11. Catch the VODs on my YouTube channel. Have a nice day.
Have a good night.